Hi guys, thank you for joining me for another video. So my name is Hannah Grace, and today I wanted to discuss some reasons as to why we people please. Because a lot of us who have been people pleasing for such a long time, we think that it's something that we were born with, something that is innate, something that God has graced us with. We think it's a blessing, but a curse at the same time, like any other thing. But it's something that we have allowed to be programmed within us through our conditioning. It's something that has been programmed within us. So if we've been conditioned into it, we can be conditioned out of it. So a lot of us are thinking that, oh, it's very hard, we can't do it, this has happened for such a long time, how am I going to get out of this? So today I want to give you some reasons as to why we people please and some ways we can slowly but surely get out of it. Of human psychological issues stem from our childhood. We often think that, well, why do we act like this as adults? Why do we behave like this? Why do I have certain tendencies? Why is this? Why is that? Why is this person like this? Why is this person not like this? And 9 times out of 10, or let me say 9.5 times out of 10, it's to do with our psychology. It's to do with what we have been raised to believe, what we have been raised to think, what's happened in our childhood. Because for me, my understanding that the childhood is the blueprint of how you are to be. How you are as a child will determine how you will be as an adult. So what has been put into you as a child will determine what will be expressed. So it's like anything. If you're planting a tree or apple tree, if you put in the soil apple seeds, you will get apple seeds. If you put in a child wholeness and health and confidence and you're beautiful, you're enough, affirmations, the child is bound 9 times out of 10 or 9.5 times out of 10 to be a healthy, strong, secure adult. If you put in a child, or if the child puts in themselves with no adult supervision to tell them now what you've put in yourself is not good, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're ugly, you're never going to amount to anything, 9.5 times out of 10 they're going to grow up believing that they are worthless, they're not good enough. It takes counselors, it takes therapy, it takes coaches, it takes intentional adults, intentional people to help recondition our minds, because as children we are very impressionable. And so my understanding is that my people pleasing started and stemmed from my childhood, because I've had some time over the years to really think, why did I behave like this? When did this lifestyle of people pleasing come about? When was it? What happened? And I realized it's beyond the last friendship, the last partner. It was beyond that. And I was going back and back and back, and I realized it stemmed from when I was a child. And I dug even deeper and I thought, well, what happened specifically that made me live like this? Why do I feel like this? Why? And you know, the funny thing is, every time I look back at my childhood, though I had a decent childhood, I always feel hurt. I always feel this pain of irritation and frustration and resentment. And I ask myself, why am I feeling like this? Because I have done some really good things in my life, but every time I think about it, I just feel pain, frustration, resentment, rejection. I need to run away. And I had to unpack that, because every time I felt like this, there are negative feelings, there are negative thoughts I don't want to dwell on. I'll run away. And then I said to myself, I need to go in, what's going on? I was being my own therapist, asking myself my own questions. And I realized it's because I was rejected. And that rejection from the people I wanted acceptance from, and I'll go into that, caused me to feel unworthy, not good enough. And I internalized these thoughts, and I had no one to divulge to, no one to give me a different perspective of what I was feeling. And so I internalized this, and because, you know, the devil is wicked, once you give him an inch, you take a mile. I gave him one thought, he brought all these negative thoughts, and now through the law of attraction, I was attracting more negative thoughts. And because I didn't have the inner constitution, I didn't have the inner systems within me to combat these thoughts and feelings, I just swallowed it, accepted it, and this went on for years and years and years, and I internalized these negative limiting beliefs to the point where I honestly believed that I was not good enough. I was not worthy. Though I had confidence, it wasn't a very strong confidence. It was a very fragile confidence, in a sense where it wouldn't hold much. It was more of a facade. And coupled with that, I had, recently I found out that I'm a highly sensitive person, and that means that you are someone who is sensitive. You feel things deeply. And so the reason why a lot of us tend to people please stems from the fact that it's self-inflicted. As children, you grow up thinking you're one way because of a circumstance that you have endured, and there's no one around you, there's no one you can trust, no one to see see what you're going through and tell you, hey, stop thinking like that. But because you don't have that, the only way because you're trying something that's happened to you as traumatic as a child, that's either traumatic, that is really painful, that has hurt you and cut you so deep, and one, you don't have you don't have the vocabulary, you don't have the articulation to express how you feel to someone, or there's no one for you to express yourself to. And so you're trying to find out why. As children, we just want to know why. That's one of the biggest questions any growing child asks is why. So we want to know why did this happen to me, so we can be able to be okay with it. We want closure, and so we try to find why, and then we can only come to the conclusion of we're not good enough. That's just the reason, because I've compared myself to like people, and the logical conclusion I come to is that I'm not good enough. And that spirit of unworthiness drags in, all manners of things into us that are negative, and we just feel like the only thing we're left with is a lifestyle of living a way that is not authentic to us. That's the only way we're going to be accepted. That's the only way we can be happy, because we tried being the way we are naturally, and that wasn't accepted. So I really want to be accepted. That is how I felt. I really wanted to be accepted. So, and in order for me to be accepted and to feel like I've been left to behave like this, and that led to me being a people pleaser. And the more I was rewarded with positive affirmation, positive rewards of my people pleasing behavior, the more I did it, because the more I was belonging. But I felt worse and worse about myself, because I felt fake, I felt inauthentic, but I carried on anyway, to the point where it became unconscious now. It became unconscious competence. I think there's a 4-tier level of competence. I think it starts off with unconscious, incompetence, then you get to conscious competence, and then something along those lines. I will insert it over here somewhere. But I remember the first time I heard that, and I thought, yes, that's true. If you want to develop a skill, and that's exactly how it was. I developed the skill of being everything to everybody. So another thing is growing up with parents or people who have authority over you, that have such high expectations of you, and so because you respect them, you love them, you want to essentially please them, you want to be on their good side, you want them to be proud of you, and because of the pressures that they insert and they put on you, you feel that you have to fold to their expectations. So for example, me growing up in a Nigerian church and around so many different Nigerians, my understanding of Nigerians is that we are very competitive people. We want to be the best, and there's a saying that I've heard recently that Nigerians know they carry last, and that means to me that Nigerians, we don't come second, we don't come third, we have to be number one. And with that understanding and mindset, a lot of kids have put pressure on themselves to get grades that to achieve a certain grades, and felt worthless when they didn't achieve those grades, and they did whatever means necessary to get those grades, because they couldn't be seen as a failure. They couldn't come home with a C. A C is not good enough, you have to get the A star. And they put immense pressure on themselves to please their parents, and all well and good to be your best and to do your best. But when it comes to you doing things like cheating or asking someone else to do your homework for you just to show, to be fake and be like, hey, I've done it now, are you happy with me now? It's just not right. And that, if that's untreated, that kind of mindset that of I need to please people in order for me to feel accepted, because otherwise their parents won't accept them. Their parents won't affirm them. They won't show that they are valuable. They'll make them feel like they're worthless if they don't get the grades. And so in order for them to feel worthy, they have to do what their parents want them to do. And with that ideology, moving on to adulthood, you have the understanding that in order for me to be accepted, in order for me to be liked, truly liked, I have to do what this person wants me to do. I also witness a lot of children not have an opinion in their household or around their parents, not be able to express themselves when they're around their father. That's the father, he knows best. When I'm around my father, I don't speak. And they sort of have a fear for their father rather than a genuine reverence and love and respect for their father. And I thankfully didn't have that in my household that I was raised in. My mother was very open, very open. She wanted us to speak, she wanted us to voice our opinions, she asked for our opinions, she cared, she listened to our opinions. And a lot of parents are very skeptical of that idea. Why should I let my child speak? Because if they say that, oh, the child, what does the child know? She doesn't know much, they're just growing. But my mum, being a very spiritual person, I know she was honestly asking because she cared, she wanted our opinions, but she was hoping, I'm sure, deep down that we will say something from God will speak for us and give her the answer, because being a single parent, sometimes it's hard to make decisions on your own. But my mum was very open, and I'm grateful for that, because it did give me, some sort of confidence to express myself to some degree in life because of the openness I had at home. But I mean, in terms of fully expressing my deepest, darkest feelings, I didn't feel comfortable. And that wasn't necessarily because of my upbringing, it was because I didn't feel I could be vulnerable with certain people. And so there's a few other reasons why people tend to people please. Because they just it's a transactional thing. They want something for something. They want love. So they do press you, they'll do what you want them to do in order to get that love. This is prevalent in relationships. And I, for one, have, experienced, and I have, admittedly, if I'm honest with you, entered into relationships in order to receive love, because that part of me was missing. I wanted love, and I thought I could impress someone so much that they can give me the love that I required. And I'm not alone in this. There's females around the world, there's females everywhere. They want love. They're searching for genuine love and acceptance, and they are ready to forfeit who they are, their lives, just to accept love from someone. And for me, I used to think maybe it's because I had daddy issues. That's why I entered into those sort of relationships, or I entertained it, or I was attracted to that. But it was simply because I suffered rejection. And me as a person, I love community, and I suffered rejection growing up, and I feared being abandoned. I feared not being accepted, and I feared that if I was truly myself, that I would not be accepted. Because I think, somewhere down the line, I have asserted myself. I've tried to stand up for myself, and it worked horribly. And I was rejected. I was marginalized, and I hated that feeling, and I hated not being where I'm supposed to be. And I never really understood that depth of belief I had within myself that I needed to get was mine. I honestly thought it's because I'm just sensitive, I'm just this, I'm just that. But the real reason was because I knew this was something I was supposed to have, and me not having it seemed strange for me. Why am I not having what I'm supposed to have? And so I feared not having it, and I never really knew that I was so driven like that to be such a go-getter to get what was mine. I thought it was just because I had daddy issues and I wanted love and I wanted respect, and I wanted love and I wanted acceptance. But the real reason was because this was what I was supposed to have, and I feared not having it because it was advertised from my sister and those around me and my brother who had friends and who were happy with their friends, that this is how you enjoy life, with friends. And so me pursuing friends and me pursuing, being in companionship with people, and it not working out the way I hoped, it made me feel like a failure. And that fear of failing is what haunted me and what pushed me into people pleasing even more. That I can't fail at making friends, because everyone makes friends. It's easy. How can I not make friends? And I'm very self-aware, and I know that I'm a cool person. Like, admittedly, I'm cool. I have a good personality. I have a fun personality. Even if not for anything, I am open and I'm friendly. So it's easy for you to make friends. So why am I not making friends? What's wrong with me? And so that feeling of rejection was haunting me, and I didn't want to feel like that. So anywhere I was accepted, I grabbed onto it, and I didn't want to let go, because I don't want to feel the feelings of rejection, of feeling like a failure and missing out on something I'm supposed to have. And so that is what pushed me more into people pleasing. And so much so that, like I said, with the relationship I was in, it was the case where I knew it wasn't the best for me, but I just couldn't fathom being alone again. Because prior to that relationship, I felt so alone. I felt so lonely. I felt like I don't even have friends. I feel like I'm not enjoying my life as much. Yes, I'm okay being on my own. I enjoy my own company, but it gets to a point when you just want to have like-minded people who see things the way you see things, and you are comrades together and you enjoy life together. And as soon as I found that in my previous relationship, I didn't want to let it go, regardless of how it was, the ins and the outs of it. I didn't want to let it go, and it was hard for me. And I feel like, honestly, God allowed that relationship to end. Yes, because of how it was, but also because I felt that there was a reliance on that relationship. And that's not only with the relationship, with friendships and the other relationships I've had in and around the past, 2 years or so. All of them have been built on an inauthentic version of myself, a version that was desperate. I needed this subconsciously. I needed this. I can't be alone. I'm too afraid to be alone, because if I'm alone, that means I failed. I was running away from failure. I was running away from feeling the feeling of rejection, feeling the feeling of abandonment, because it reminded me of how I felt as a child, and I hated that feeling. And I didn't know how to get over that feeling, and I had to endure it until, by the grace of God, things sort of got better. And so I was running until, up until 2 years ago, God, everything that could be shaken was shaking and fell. And I felt like I had to start again and build my life again on a foundation of authenticity, of no fakeness, no doing to get, doing to feel some sort of acceptance, because I'm so afraid of rejection. And meanwhile, I was a Christian. Meanwhile, I'm praying. Meanwhile, I love God, but I didn't delve into the things of God as much as I have done now, because those distractions of I need you have gone, because I honestly don't need any other. All I've ever needed, all the love, all the acceptance that I was looking for, I had it within me, from my relationship with God and my relationship with myself. And I've come to fully understand that now. Since all of these relationships have been shaken and fallen off, I've come to realize that everything I've ever wanted has been within me. And so a lot of us are running from past traumas that makes us run into the arms of people pleasing, makes us run into the arms of people, because we are codependent. We feel like we need people. And and I think if we can just get to the place of wholeness, and that wholeness is a journey. Wholeness is not just, okay, I want to be whole now, let me bang out 2 weeks of wholeness and I'm good. No, it's a process. There's a process. Self-love is a process. A relationship with God is a process. It's a daily effort to be whole, a daily effort to be in relationship with God, but it's a daily consistent effort. And so some practical steps to becoming more whole and becoming less reliant on people and thinking about people and making people as an idol in your life, essentially, is just to take your eyes off of them. And literally just snatch your glaze off of them and put it right back on you. And initially when I did this, it was like, I don't know, I didn't know how I could do it. Like literally all my eyes have this is how I've been living my life. My eyeballs were wide open. Like I said, as a highly sensitive person, I could see everything as a natural trait. Plus, coupled with me observing, because I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to ruin my chances of being in a relationship and finding love and companionship, not romantically only, but also with friendships. I was like a hawk, and I couldn't switch off. And I think the first thing is just to close your eyes and focus back on yourself. Start praying again if you've stopped praying. Start worshiping again. Get your eyes off of people. That's the first thing. Close your eyes. It's not, and I know when I say close your eyes, I know the next minute you're going to open your eyes again. But just make it as a conscious attempt to close your eyes and focus on yourself and focus on God. And that's a process. Again, I'll have to reiterate that is a process. Practical things, like I said, pray and worship. And when you worship, make sure your eyes are focused on the God you are worshiping, not on your problems, not on, does this person like me? What did this person say? This person offended me. People like people. I'd rather you think about yourself than people. But when you worship God, focus on God. He says just shift your focus from people to yourself, people to God. Stop, even your family, stop thinking about them. Even if you're married, your husband, your wife, your children, stop thinking about them for a second. Think about yourself. You came to this world alone, you're going to die alone. On somewhere in the middle, we live with people, but at the end of the day, life is a journey, a personal journey. And living it is just ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. So this video is getting really, really long. So I'm going to make subsequent videos definitely on this channel, all in and around people pleasing, codependency, being the best version of yourself. I'm really, really passionate about this. This is something I've gone through all my life. I'm in my late 20s now and I have a wealth of experience, and I really just want to divulge and give you as much as I can and just really help at least one person to get through this and let them know that you can do it. If I'm at this position now that I have dreamt of being, I really just wanted to feel wholeness. And daily I pray, God, help me, let me be whole. Help me to be unapologetically, authentically me. Help me just to be me. Every time I pray that, I feel weird within my body because it feels so strange for me to pray that prayer, because I tell you, it's been a journey for me and I'm still on the journey, and I really want to help people. So leave your comments down below. I put my IG handle here. Message me on IG. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let me help you. How do you want me to help you? I want to help. I want to support. Let's have a conversation, you know? So yeah, take care and God bless. Bye.